Hello there, welcome back to Industrial Economics. In this video, we will define the scope of our subject and give some examples to tell you why study industrial economics. What is industrial economics? By Wikipedia, industrial economics or industrial organization is a field that builds on the theory of the firm by examining the structure of and therefore the boundaries between firms and markets. Industrial economics adds real-world complications to the perfect competitive model. Complications such as transaction costs, limited information, and the barriers to entry of new firms that may be associated with imperfect competition. People who study in industrial economics are focused on industries or markets. In tradition, industrial economists investigate the structure, the conduct, and the performance of a specific market. The structure of a market can be qualified as the strength of competition. As you have learned in microeconomics, the markets can be classified as monopoly, oligopoly, monopolistic, competitive, and perfect competition. Roughly speaking, the elements that decide the structure of a market are the number of firms, the existence of entry barriers, and the differentiation of products. The conduct refers to behavior of a firm in a particular structure of market. The performance is the consequence of conduct under the market structure. The SCP paradigm is a good framework to investigate the market. It is an empirical approach. That is, they collect data from industries, calculate the indexes, and try to find the relation between variables. But its lack of fundamental theories to explain the relationships behind its results. For example, SCP observed that the performance may be affected by conduct and structure. They consider an index to measure the market structure, the rate of market concentration, which is how much the big firms produce or sell compared to the whole market. If the value is very close to 1, the market is monopoly. If the rate of concentration is close to 0, the market is perfect competition. Otherwise, the market is in some case of imperfect competition, like oligopoly. However, the relation between performance, the profit of the firm, for example, and the structure, the rate of concentration, is ambiguous. You will see different market structure affects firm's profit, and also firm's profit affect the rate of concentration in a specific market. All in all, the SCP paradigm cannot tell us the causality among different economic variables. As the critiques of SCP increased, the demand for a theoretical analysis of industrial organization was increased. In 1970, many economists who are familiar with game theoretical models employ more ideas from microeconomic theory to industrial economics. For example, economics use equilibrium model to determine the optimal number of a market. Cournot and the Bertrand model of oligopoly was also reinterpreted in the sense of strategic interaction. Firm's choice of quality level has some characteristics in common with the choice of store location. These theories form an approach called modern industrial organization. For a perspective of business, we care about not only the market efficiency, which is the most important issue in economics, but also the behavior of firms, modern industrial organization put most of its attention on the investigation of firm behavior. Moreover, industrial organization deals with the market of imperfect competition and imperfect information, such as price discrimination, advertising, and outsourcing. This leads us to the area of business strategy. To make a good, sustainable, and profitable strategy, a theory that considers how firm makes its decision optimally is appropriate. This is why the most top MBA programs all over the world require students to acquire the knowledge of industrial organization. Okay, the remaining question is, strategic and industrial research is very important. Why do we employ economics to do this? In fact, there are many different disciplines associated with strategy. For business study, there are some best-selling books, such as In Search for Excellence, The New Market Leader, and Good to Great, provide principles for successful strategies. They often uncritically leap to conclusion that key to success by watching and imitating successful firms. Propose the successful characteristics such as close to the customer, stick to the knitting, bias for action. So what is the problem? The problem is that this kind of conclusion are proof by assertion, which means the assertion repeats itself and provides no proof. On the other hand, economic theory builds assumptions and proves the results under these assumptions or conditions. Every economic assertion has premise. When the premise changed, there would be different results. Moreover, most of the ideas in this course have been subject to rigorous empirical testing that have survived peer review. Finally, a theory with little cases cannot prove the result. It can be enforced rather than proved by repeatedly empirical research. Enron, the United States firm, would be a good example. Once upon a time, Enron was an excellent company in the area of new energy. It was named America's most innovative company by the magazine Fortune for 6 consecutive years from 1996 to 2001. However, it was ultimately revealed to be a company that relied on accounting shell games and lacked any real sustainable advantage. So, we should pay attention on what issues in the industrial economics. There are 3 classes of issues. 1. The boundary of firms. 2. Market and competitive analysis. 3. Positioning and dynamics. First of all, we should ask a fundamental question. Why do firms emerge? Why are not all transactions in the economy mediated over the market? The firm's boundary defines what the firm does. It gives a description of the border between firm and market. Firm's boundary deals with how many products and services they provide, which is the horizontal boundaries. How many processes they involved, which is the vertical boundaries, and who is the competitors with the firm, which is the corporate boundaries. Next, after the firm's boundary set up, firms must understand the nature of the markets in which they compete. There are reasons why, for example, even mediocre firms in an industry such as pharmaceuticals have impressive profitability performance, while the top firms in the airline industry seems to achieve low rates of profitability even in the best of times. Market and competitive analysis would help firms to find out the possible answers. Positioning and dynamics are shorthand for how and on what basis a firm competes. Position is a static concept which indicates the source of profit, such as low-cost production or highly differentiation. Dynamics refers to how the firm accumulates resources and capabilities, as well as to how it adjusts over time to changing circumstances. Furthermore, due to the rapid growth of new economy, which are the economic sectors of information technology and telecommunication, we must also pay attention to network effect and platform competition. The definition of network effect comes from the consumer's preferences to the others. Consumers often place higher value on products if other consumers also use it. When this occurs, the product is said to display network effect or network externalities. As the use of internet embeds in our daily life, a one-sided network effect cannot explain many things. For example, network effect might explain why Taobao is the most used platform for online shopping, but it cannot explain why Taobao became the most used one in China. Why not Amazon.com? This makes us to investigate the two-sided market. Two-sided markets focus the network effect both on the consumer and the firms, the suppliers. Each consumer wants to choose an online shopping site that has most convenient on it. Most convenient might be cheapest, most item listed, or most of consumers have good experience report on it. Also, the suppliers of goods want a platform that can make most profit for them. That might be a platform has most customers, less competitors, or less fees of listing. Further, platforms should design his listing rules to compete to other platforms. So, these are more complicated issues than we consider only consumers and the suppliers in the traditional industry organization frameworks. These four classes of issues plus the review of microeconomics formulate our modules of study in industrial economics. Hope you have a nice learning journey. See you in the next video.